Hey, what's up, my friends? Well, bad news. They, I cranked up the Honda, and the it still leaked oil. So, crawled under there, got a real good look, and it is coming from somewhere above the oil pan. So, it could just be a seal. When the bike sits for so long, everything underneath stays with oil in it, but anything on top can get dried out and cracked. And so I'm thinking that that might be what the problem is, some kind of seal in there, maybe for a sensor or something like that, is leaking oil. So I gotta take this cover off to get to see what's down there. And that's what I'm working on right now. I have the screws were super hard to get out. I tried opening them last night but couldn't turn anything, so sprayed it all down with some penetrant and waited till today. It came out here and it is still pretty tough, so I got a new tool. I got an impact driver, and I already tried it out on two of these and it worked. It was really neat. So I got one more I need to get off with this, but the screw is right back there, and so the foot peg needs to be removed. I already put a wrench right there. It was sitting out in the sun, so it's really hot. So I'm letting it cool for a minute before I try to get that off so we can get that screw down there out. Easy as that. Wow, there is some buildup right around this clutch pedal. looks pretty good everywhere else. Maybe a little sling over there, but has just totally disintegrated. That is the starter boot. Let's crank it up and see if we can see where it's leaking from. It has to warm up a little bit before it starts leaking. It looks like it's leaking out the oil pan, but then when I look closer, I see it above, it's wet above the oil pan. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to do some research and figure about the oil pump before I go taking anything apart. So I'll be back in a minute. So it shows here that the oil pump has an O-ring and then two other O-rings right there. So that could be what's leaking. It could be running down the bottom, and see how that's right there where we see the leak at. So that's what we gotta check. Well, I thought about it and I decided that since it's so since it's really so dirty and oily, I cleaned the oil pan, it looks great, but anything on top of the oil pan is full of old dried oil and stuff like that. So for me to be sure that it's the oil pump, I mean, I'm assuming it is just because it's really the only thing right here, and it looks like oil is coming out from the bottom of it. But I think before I go and remove that, I'm going to get everything really super clean around it. And that's for two reasons. One is that I want to see exactly where the oil's coming from, and it's easier to see when everything is clean. And two, because if I open up, take out that oil pump, and there's all this debris from the chain and stuff falling into there, it wouldn't be too good. So I'm gonna see what I can do to clean up this right here that's on the bike before I take anything off. cleaned up enough where we can see where any leaks are coming from. So we'll go ahead and crank it up and have a look. Wow, you can definitely see where that leak is coming from. Yep. Wish I would have known that before changing that oil pan gasket. But it's good I changed it. So now we're going to go ahead and take out the oil pump, and from the diagrams it shows that there's an O-ring. There's actually should be 3 O-rings, 2 little ones and one that goes around the whole thing. And there's also a gasket behind this thing, but because it's not leaking right here, I'm not going to take that off. I'll just remove these 4 bolts right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And also I need to remove, this is the first thing, you need to remove this oil pressure switch cable right here that's connected to the, you leave the oil pressure switch in, but just remove that little wire so you can take the pump out. Looks like there's air coming out of that hole, coming out of that crack in the bolt. Let's see what happens when I take it off. No, nothing weird. That was pretty strange. But I was surely expecting something to come out of there since that air bubbles were coming out. But okay, so I got all the bolts out. I didn't take the bolt from the little screw holding the pressure sensor connector in, just because it was turning and it's so close to this other stuff. I see that I have enough slack in the cord here where I'll be able to, if I can pull this out just a little bit, and then I could get a better angle to get this connector off of here. But I'm not going to remove the pressure switch from the pump because usually there's a gasket in there, and since it's not leaking, I'm gonna leave it alone. If you can see, if looking at the right place right here, see right behind this oil pressure switch is an empty, my finger gets in the way when I show them, but see how that's back? See how that's just a piece of metal sticking up? Well, you could use that to pry, because if you damage that, it doesn't do anything because it's not part of a mating surface. I mean, of course, you don't want to break it off, but you know, that's a place where it won't damage any of the aluminum, any of the cast aluminum. Two little pieces. It's an O-ring right there. I wonder if that's what was causing the leak, because it fell out right into the oil pan along with this little spacer. I had set the camera on time lapse because I thought that it was going to take a long time to get that oil pump off of there, just because of how long it took to get the oil pan off yesterday. And so sorry you missed it actually coming off. I mean, if you saw that time lapse, it was really quick. I says, oh, just put the pry bar right here and pry and it'll come off, and it did what I said it would do. I just wasn't expecting it. So now it's draining there. Okay, so I didn't have to remove it from here. I was worried because when I turn this, the whole thing turns. But right here is a little bullet connector right inside of here. So I just unclipped it out of there. And now I can take this to... Okay, so the little parts that fell out, they go here and here. And this would be sitting up this way, so this would be the gasket that's leaking. Come on. And if it is just supposed to be an O-ring, it's less flexible than an O-ring should be. It looks like a flat washer, so this may be hard to replace. But I don't see any cracks in it or anything. I mean, it looks good. So what I'm thinking about doing is just finding some regular O-rings in my O-ring kit over there and replacing these on the sides here where it was leaking from, and put it back on and crank it up and see if that stopped the leak. I don't know if I need some kind of special O-rings or just regular ones will work. So since I have a whole box of regular ones, we'll put those on first and see if that solves the problem. It calls for 15 by 2.5 size O-ring. Because this one is in here and it's not moving and it wasn't leaking from that side, I'm just going to leave it. Okay, I just got the oil pump put on with the generic gasket from my kit, and we'll see if it stops that oil leak. Let's crank it up and have a look. Well, ran for like 4 or 5 minutes and there was no leaking coming out. I didn't see any oil, and so I mean, I saw a little down there, but that was already there. I couldn't get that out. It no more accumulated. So I want to say it's a win. So I'm gonna clean up the this cover and put it back on, and I'll keep an eye on it. If it starts leaking again or something, I'll know that that was just that that O-ring, and I'll have to order. I got the original one right here, so, and it's also written in the book what size it is, so I'll be able to order a new set if I need to. But for now, we'll just go with this, and maybe that's all it needed. So yep, I'm happy about that. So I'll go ahead, clean up this cover, put it back on, and we'll be done for today. clean the oil and dirt off of it, but not the character. Ready to go back on. Okay, so I sprayed a little chain wax on the chain here, and I wrapped some tape around that spark plug, not spark plug, but starter connector where the little boot broke off. I tried to find a boot at the store. I also looked at putting a little piece of hose on there, but I figure since it's been destroyed for so long and it was working fine, I just wrapped some electrical tape around it, and that should be good. So we're back on. Time to be done. And we're done. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a wonderful night. Take care. And remember to top off your oil.